What's up, you guys? This is Rob from Guy Plays, and today on the Daily Grind, we're going to be chatting about something a little bit different. What exactly makes you a veteran? And the shit that new veterans are saying. And yes, I did use the word new veteran. That sounds a little bit odd. However, before we go ahead and jump into the video itself, I wanted to give you guys a bit of a disclaimer. Some of the footage that we recorded is a bit wonky. I think that I might have had like some sort of laggy connection because there are many times you're going to be seeing the footage in the background where I hit eidolons and no damage numbers come up, or I get flung in weird directions. Just completely ignore that. I was actually watching an MCIK video a little bit after that, and it started buffering, and I was like, holy shit, this is probably why everything was a little bit odd, because I wasn't the host. So do keep that in mind before you judge me, because I know some of y'all will be judging. And I'm like, listen, we did 2 Tridolon captures in one night, get off my back, okay? Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into what brought about this whole discussion in the first place. And that was mainly because of the fact is, I was sitting on my stream and we were talking about, you know, veteranship and yada 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 and so on and so forth. And a couple things were brought up. First and foremost, number one, when we talk about veteranship, there is something there that I really think unifies all veterans, but we'll get to that in a second. So first of all, we were talking about mastery rank. Now, mastery rank is always one of those things that I've kind of poo-pooed a little bit. I'm like, your mastery rank doesn't really say much about your skill level. It doesn't say much about, you know, just because you can grind doesn't mean that you're skillful. But I did kind of want to redact that a little bit, because if we take a look at veteranship, I'm not saying that you have to be a certain mastery rank to be a veteran, but I'm saying when you see people that are running around that are mastery rank 24 and 25, clearly they've got some login reward weapons. They probably hit up the companion, so they've got some Kubros, some Kavats under their belt, maybe even did a little bit of Arcwing. So when they get up into those higher tiers of mastery rank, it kind of does speak to what experience they've had in the game. At least they know how to procure some of those things and how some of those things do play. So, you know, if you're like mastery rank 14 versus a mastery rank 17, I don't really think that there's as much of a difference there as the jump between mastery rank 23 into 24 and 25. Because when you get into the 24s and 25s, we're talking about like maybe some limited time items, maybe that they picked up in events that Barrow hasn't brought back for the mastery rank 23s. You know, it's kind of like getting over that hump. So as much as I don't want to say that mastery rank is a part of veteranship, I do kind of have to say, you know, once you get up into the higher tiers, we know that you've been through some shit. Same thing goes for hours played, kind of like going along with the mastery rank. I, as you guys know, have already broken the 5,000 hour mark. However, there's somebody that I actually know from my first TennoCon, which was Flare Eyes. He's a Warframe streamer, and legitimately, he's got 6,000 hours in game, and I'm like, holy shit, that's absolute insanity. And I'm not saying that you have to be a certain amount of hours in game, because it really depends on what you are doing with those hours. Are you just like, you know, 7 days a week grinding on Hydron, and the only thing you ever see is like Hydron and Draco back in the days? Now, you know, I mean, when you could say Draco back in the days, then you know maybe you're a little bit veteran right there. But I'm just saying, you know, it doesn't necessarily speak to the quality of those hours played. And keep in mind, we're going off of in-game played mission time, not the Steam ones. The Steam ones don't really count, because you could just fall asleep, leave your Warframe on the ship, and it'll bump up your Steam numbers. So just go with your profile in-game, and that'll tell you how many hours you've had. But I don't really think that that's necessarily a determining factor. Another determining factor that I don't necessarily think is a thing is there's some people that joined ages ago, right? Joined when Warframe was a baby, and then just were gone for like whole chunks of it. And I was saying, yeah, you might have joined in closed beta, but maybe you didn't log back in until after Plains of Eidolon launched. And I think that what this all boils down to, and I'm kind of summing it up right here, is I feel that what makes a Warframe veteran is the experiences they've accumulated. Because a lot of the times when you talk to veterans or talk to people who've been playing the game for a long time, you guys have these shared experiences. And, you know, it's not about how many enemies you killed. It's not about how many Eidolons you killed. It's not about, you know, all of this and all of that. It's kind of about sharing that experience. And, you know, one of the things that kind of like resonated with me is one of the new experiences that people are gonna have to kind of like check off their list is the new kids can't say that they've played Trials, right? If somebody joins right now at this very moment in time, they probably don't even know what Trials are. So that's kind of like what I'm talking about when we say shared experiences. Because the veterans, they all shared these experiences. They shared the Gradivis Dilemma. They shared Damage 1.0. They shared DE putting invisibility on Super Jump, and we all laughed. We shared the moments when you could rocket jump off of Toncore grenades, right? That's what I mean is like, even though, you know, maybe you don't have a million gazillion hours in, it's about accumulating these memories and accumulating these moments that really kind of make you a veteran. A veteran doesn't even mean that you have to be a good player. I'm gonna put it in right there. A veteran doesn't even mean you have to be a good player. Veteran doesn't even mean that you have to have every single Warframe out there. Sometimes it's about just having these moments that you share. And it's kind of like memories of weird shit. Like, one of the things I want to point out for those of you guys who don't remember, in the vaults, Loki used to actually be able to switch teleport into the vaults. So he could put a decoy in, switch teleport with that decoy, grab the item, and then switch teleport right back on out. And it was just like that moment of, oh, something's not right here. And that's kind of like one of the things, and one of the new things that kind of came along with that, and this is really what spurred on the whole talk, was that was, you know, the low key was one of the things back in the day. Now, I wanted to point out, remember when shield disruption used to affect Eidolons? And somebody told that to me, and I was like, that is such like a veteran thing. And I'm thinking, I was like, it's weird to say Eidolons and veteran at the same time, but we have to remember that there are always all of these new experiences that are coming, and really, that's what makes people veterans, is slowly accumulating all of these experiences and being able to share them. So I was thinking in my head, I was like, damn, what other things like that are happening now that it's gonna be veteran talk like a year or two from now, right? Like, so I just started like reeling. So one of the things that I wanted to put in is, we used to talk about arcane helmets back in the day, right? When arcanes were put on specific helmets and you could put them on your Warframe and all of that kind of stuff. However, now we're gonna be saying things along the lines of, remember when you used to slot your arcanes into your cosmetics? And that's kind of one of those things that's just really shocking, because it literally just happened. Remember when we didn't have the UI for those arcanes? And for me, that's something that a new veteran would say, or at least I would look at them as a newer veteran. I'm like, slowly but surely, you're accumulating these experiences. Another one of the things that we always talked about was like, remember Damage 1.0? Remember when the Flux Rifle was like the best thing ever, then Damage 2.0 came and it like ruined everything? So our example for that nowadays is, remember status per second? And remember how trash status per second was? And I really started thinking about this, and I got really, really giddy, because I was like, these are new memories that these players are able to create. These are new things that are happening right now that are making you veterans. And I think it's kind of cool and very interesting thinking about the new topics that are coming up. You know, like saying, remember when Atlas didn't have rubble? Remember when Zephyr couldn't fly, even though she still kind of can't fly, she can kind of hover? You know what I mean? Like, it's all of these kind of like moments that we accumulate together as a community that make us veterans. So while some of you guys are never going to have the experience of, you know, like picking up an Excalibur Prime, you know, maybe you guys are never going to kind of go back in the day and saying, damn it, I should have tried harder to get on that, you know, top list for Prime Chamber, and should have won Prime Chamber when it came out. It's kind of like those things that like remind you, like getting all together and remembering that you're a part of this community, and that slowly but surely you're going to end up being a veteran at some point in time. You might not have all the stories, but you're accumulating your stories right now. All it means is you just got to stick around a little bit longer. Don't dip out. Because you know what, you're gonna miss out on some great things, like, and this is gonna bring up some salt, okay? So back in the day, Trinity's invincibility was zone-wide, and Blessing, it wasn't just a heal, it was invincibility. It wasn't damage reduction, y'all just couldn't be touched. So I'm gonna bring up a new one. Remember when Gara's shield was invincible? Didn't have panels, no nothing. Garrett just put this sucker down. She could jump up 2 stories, put down this big old glass tube, and ain't nobody breaking that thing. It doesn't even matter. Nothing's coming through. And that to me is kind of like one of those veteran moments. So I'm very, very curious for you guys. I really want you guys to go ahead and express what you guys think that new veterans would say. And I'm not saying that you're a veteran now, you're not in the club yet, you haven't come through with all the event stuff and all that kind of stuff, slowly but surely. But however, there have been some major changes that have come through, you know, all of the different beam weapon changes, all the different primary and secondary weapon changes. There's tons of things. I mean, like, man, remember when Condition Overload changed the game for melee weapons? Remember when Maiming Strike came through? Like, there's just so many memories, but the thing that we have to remember is we're making new memories every single day. So, I want y'all to leave in the comments below. Let me know what you think is a new veteran like statement, you know? And if you could, if you're an older veteran, you want to compare that maybe to an old veteran statement, kind of like, you know, we had Trinity's invincibility with Blessing, and then we had Gara's invincible fucking Tunnel of Love. Oh wow, that sounds really, really bad. But yeah, go ahead and leave that in the comments below, because I'm really curious to see maybe something that I've missed when it comes to like veteran stories, but they are super, super fun to go over, and they're really amazing things to share. And for anybody who is a little bit newer, don't feel dissuaded by veteran talk. It's really not like to exclude you. It's just to say, you gotta get more stories, babes. And you will get more stories. Just like all of us are getting more stories each and every day. So that about does it for me. Again, toss them in the comments. I'm really curious to see what I missed, because I'm sure there's some stuff there. But regardless, I will talk to you guys next time. So as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body, even if it's decrepit and old and I'm getting wrinkled because I played this game for too long. Ugh, my soul. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.